Greetings, my name is Isaac Barcelona, your host of What Do You Think? Stimulating conversation and thought-provoking issues which should wake up the passion in all of us. Today, we have our guest, Tom Lackey, who's going to be speaking about three different topics, and the first one is gun control. Is it good? Is it bad? What do you think of gun ownership and gun permits, Tom?
I think gun ownership is one of the most important rights that we have here in America. Obviously, liberty was seen as a very important unalienable right, and it was guaranteed by the Second Amendment. The right to bear arms has been clearly outlined and stipulated in the Constitution and actually through the Second Amendment. And there are a lot of people who feel that the right to bear arms is old-fashioned and unnecessary today. As a member of law enforcement, I would tell you that that is a myth. In fact, there's quite an energy moving forward to try to re-energize the right to carry arms. We have a local assembly member who's trying to craft a bill to make it more readily accessible for those of us who are responsible to be able to carry arms more frequently. Just a couple quick statistics. It's indicated here that the number of right to carry states is in an all-time high, up from 10 in 1987 to 40 today. And the crime statistics have plummeted in those states to where right to carry arms has been carried out. And I think that's something that we can all agree benefits all of us. That crime statistics go down, we're able to enjoy the freedoms that we should all be able to have guaranteed.
What do you say to the people that say, well, we're going to have a bunch of cowboys in the streets and everybody's going to be shooting each other over silly arguments?
I think that it's completely fabricated in the fact that the bad guys are going to carry arms no matter what. They don't pay any attention to rules, statutes. They don't care about that. They're motivated by their own desires, their own needs, at the expense of others. So it only makes sense that we'd want to allow those who are responsible to be able to carry arms, to defend themselves, and to help ensure justice. As you can see, that the statistics support that very fact. In those...
Well, Tom, you know, this is something we could talk about for a long time, but we're going to have to take a break, and we'll be right back here on What Do You Think?
Okay.
All right. We'll be back. Welcome to What Do You Think? Stimulating conversation and thought-provoking issues. Right now we're listening to Tom Lackey and everything that he believes about the different subjects we're talking about. And we want you to listen, but we also want you to participate because we want to hear what you think as well. And so we invite you to contact us and let us know if you want to be part of this debate and this lively discussion. Our next topic is going to be waterboarding. Is it justified? Tom, what do you think?
Well, I think first off, I think one of the big debating issues is first off the allegation of it being torture. And that is really kind of a difficult issue to address because torture is in the eye of the beholder. And I've noticed in doing research in preparation for this discussion that the definition of waterboarding is of torture is actually evolving to become more politically correct and to support this very controversial issue. I believe it's more important to actually help frame the waterboarding issue by bringing up some very important points. Number one, America has only used waterboarding on 3 occasions. If this was torture, why would we have doctors present while we're engaged in this kind of interrogation? I submit to you that it is very unpleasant, and that's what makes it effective. And it's a very important tool that we have in our toolbox and that we only use under very extreme circumstances. And that was certainly the case in each of these instances where it was applied. And many of our own soldiers have even undergone waterboarding. Colonel Oliver North has gone through it himself. And I don't think we would torture our own soldiers before sending them out into war. So it is a very unpleasant and it's a very powerful experience, and it's to be reserved in the most extreme circumstances, which I believe it was in this case.
Very good. Well, so you think it is justified, and is there, the results are positive then because of it?
Well, I would define positive as hundreds of thousands of innocent lives being saved. just because this very bad person had some very important information, was able to disclose that information to save all those people. So we did some unsavory things to allow that to happen.
All right. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with What Do You Think? Welcome back to What Do You Think? Stimulating conversation and passionate, thought-provoking issues. We're talking to Tom Lackey, and you know, there's something that sounds really good, which is the fairness doctrine. Sounds really good, but why don't you explain to us what it is and if it is good in fact?
The fairness doctrine was rooted primarily, and it actually was developed back in the 1940s, back when radio was the primary means of communicating with the public. And it was believed that this particular means of communication did not want to be controlled by any political entity. And so they initiated this doctrine that would disallow any type of control from any political perspective by allowing equal time for both points to be presented. However, what happened since the 1940s were a couple of things. The television came into play, where we had also networks presenting information, presenting news, and allowing them to communicate with the public in addition to radio. And what happened also is a greater understanding, I believe, of the First Amendment. And eventually it came to a very controversial head back in around 1987, where the FCC actually abolished this doctrine in a 4-0 vote in the Syracuse Peace Council decision. And this was the actual finding that they came up with. They said the intrusion by government into the content of programming occasioned by the enforcement of the fairness doctrine restricts journalistic freedom of broadcasters, inhibits the presentation of controversial issues of public importance to the detriment of the public, and the denigration of editorial prerogative of broadcast journalists. So in other words, they said it's not fair, it limits free speech, and that's what we believe, that's certainly what I believe, is all that it would do is limit free speech, limit the opportunity to present information, which is un-American.
That's right, and I think it also, you know, if a show is successful, it's because the people want to hear it, and they're supporting it. And so why dictate, you know, who's going to be on when? Why don't you let the people decide that by tuning in or not? Well,
let's be honest. This is a virtual attack on conservative talk radio because it's proven to be very successful, very popular, and it has an influence on the voters. And those who are in support of this fairness doctrine are clearly people on the left side of the political spectrum, and what they're trying to do is manipulate free speech, political speech in particular, which is completely un-American.
Well, what do you think? We're going to let you know in a few moments how you can let us know that you want to come up here on camera and let us know what you think. This has been Tom Lackey. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
What do you think? Stimulating conversation and passionate, thought-provoking issues being brought to you in a lively discussion format. This is thanks to Geek to Me Productions and our sponsors, and we want to invite you to participate. We're going to let you know how you can contact us and let us know if you want to come on camera and discuss your point of view. We'll see you next time. This is Isaac Barcelona, and what do you think?